Impossible is nothing, sharp, succinct, and sticks in your memory. Adidas came up with the famous slogan back in 1974, and in 2004 launched its largest advertising campaign, the face of which was the legendary Muhammad Ali. The iconic boxer has also repeatedly said that impossible is nothing.
You set yourself such a standard that Adidas products will help you unlock your potential, and you'll realize that impossible is nothing. You'll be able to achieve anything, and there will be no barriers. So there are no barriers, they exist within you, and our products help you open up.
The corporation successfully used this tagline until 2021.
It happened by accident. I love Nike, but I bought Adidas. I still use it. I run in it. I run marathons, and it helped me a lot. And even sometimes you run, look at your sneakers, they run, they do not tear, and when you cover a greater distance, you understand that there really are no limits.
However, Adidas decided to change the slogan to All In.
The company is developing. It is clear that it must change somehow. To make adjustments, to make new colors in life, because people change, and new generations change, they all need some new things.
If Puma was Adidas' main opponent in the German market, Nike was the most annoying rival in the world. The German company has been the leader in Western Europe's football. Its American competitor, in basketball and baseball, Adidas struggled to match Nike's US popularity for years. In 2014, everything changed when Mark King headed the North American branch of the German giant.
He literally flipped the entire strategy 180 degrees. He knows it's necessary to Americanize the brand for American consumers. He begins to position Adidas as an innovative company, a flexible company and a company with a free spirit that has no one in competition.
The corporation makes agreements with university teams in the US, a key starting point for young people pursuing professional careers.
These include agreements and new conditions for universities. They propose creating a university research lab to study athlete needs and design clothing and shoes.
Adidas also targeted high school students as potential customers.
This was an interesting moment, because sneakers were just beginning to come into fashion as everyday shoes. Adidas knows you can seize this moment. They are starting to produce casual sneakers, and they add some technologies to them, chips from sports shoes to make them more comfortable.
But despite all efforts, Adidas is still inferior to Nike in the United States. The German brand covers only 5% of the American shoe market. His competitor covers as much as 21%. It seems like the finish line is still a long way off for these racers. At the end of the 90s, the history of Adidas as a multi-branding concern begins.
In 1997, Adidas acquired the French company Salomon Sports, which manufactures goods for winter sports. In 2005, Salomon was bought by the Finnish company Amerisport. Instead, in the same year, Adidas absorbed the American shoe giant Reebok.
Reebok is a company with an even longer history than Adidas. If Adi Dassler began to think about shoe innovations after the First World War, then the co-founder of the Boston company, Joseph Foster, developed running shoes at the end of the 19th century. The American brand's success path hasn't been a sprint. Reebok became really popular in the 1980s, when the company introduced a women's freestyle model designed for aerobics. The next bomb was pump sneakers. They could be pumped with air to fit the owner's feet as much as possible. In the early 2000s, Reebok, next to Nike, was the leader in the US market.
In order to enter the US market, Adidas bought Reebok in order to have more of an advantage there and compete with Nike. Reebok was bought only to gain more market.
Adidas had a great example. In 2003, Nike bought out the bankrupt Converse brand. By early 2020, the sneaker manufacturer deeply integrated with Nike, had nearly $2 billion in annual revenue. The union succeeded because the company's products didn't compete. But something went wrong. The brands failed to develop harmoniously. Adidas pressured and competed with Reebok. The German brand received more money for marketing costs. In 2006, it signed an 11-year contract with the NBA. The prestigious basketball league was once exclusively Reebok's territory.
It was Adidas that got contracts with sports and showbiz stars of the first magnitude. It has worked with Kanye West, Jay-Z, Pharrell Williams, and Beyoncé. There aren't many big names on the Reebok list. Rapper Cardi B and UFC star Conor McGregor.
To stay afloat, the American brand is forced to turn to previous experience. For example, shoes released in tandem with Cardi B are redesigned Reebok tennis shoes from 1985.
For comparison, in 2006, Reebok's sales reached €2 billion, and by 2018 they fell to €1.7 billion. Instead, Adidas sales in the same time period increased from €10 billion to almost $22 billion.
In 2019, Shaquille O'Neal announced that he was ready to buy out the Boston company. The legendary basketball player has a long history with Reebok. In the 90s, it was he who was the face of the shoe brand. According to Shaq, Adidas has almost wiped out Reebok. The sports celebrity aims to revive the brand in basketball and fitness. The German concern itself was not against the sale.
They were bought purely with the aim of spreading in the market. They have worked their way out and decided to focus their attention on their new strategies to get rid of something unnecessary that is needed in order to optimize their resources and improve their results.
Palmyra, owner of the Dr. Martens brand, was among the potential buyers. The story with the probable sale dragged on for 2 years. And finally, in August 2021, Adidas announced that it had agreed with the American Authentic Brands Group. ABG owns more than 50 consumer brands. Today, all Adidas products are divided into 3 areas. The first is sports performance.
This is just for professional sports, for athletes, where people are trying to raise their performance, their achievements through equipment.
The second is the originals. They are designed for everyday use, not to achieve records in professional sports.
This is casual style. It is lightweight, free, accessible to everyone.
And the third Adidas branch is sports style. It features items co-designed with famous designers. For example, with Yohji Yamamoto and Stella McCartney, the daughter of Paul McCartney. In 2021, the world saw a collection of Adidas sneakers made of eco-leather, from mushroom fibers. This material, called Milo, was developed by the American startup Bolt Threads. It's made of the mycelium of fungi's root system. Each of 3 areas has its own research group.
One discovery team is researching athletes. The second team is engaged in the study of trends, and everything modern, contemporary art, cinema, and music. And the third direction is cooperation with the stars.
Adidas has a voluminous portfolio of brands. It owns Salomon, a manufacturer of equipment for skiing and tourism. Mavic specializes in bicycle parts. Cliché, clothes and shoes for skateboarding. Bonfire is a manufacturer of snowboarding products.
They are just expanding their sales market in this way. And they expand their opportunities in research. They are engaged in the development of sports equipment. And the more they master different sports, the more different ideas they will have.
Like all corporations, Adidas often gets into scandals. The corporation has repeatedly faced accusations of racial discrimination. In 2012, Adidas collaborated with designer Jeremy Scott to release a model, but Americans didn't like it. Ankle handcuffs, albeit plastic, evoke meaningful associations in them. A year later, this tandem stepped on the same rake. Manufacturers were accused of appropriation for presenting a sneaker line inspired by Native American culture. The appropriation of Indian cultural heritage by non-members. The corporation excels in utilizing futuristic ideas and ambitions. In 2016, Adidas sub-brand Yo3, led by Yohji Yamamoto, signed a contract with Virgin Galactic, the company of billionaire Richard Branson, pioneering commercial space tourism.
They presented a collection of clothes for pilots. There were jackets made of material similar to Kevlar, but much lighter. With elastic inserts so that it is convenient to reach everywhere. With seams so that it is comfortable to sit for a long time.
However, Yo3 clothes have never been in space.
In 2019, Virgin Galactic announced that they were signing a contract with another brand, Adidas competitor, Under Armour. Everyone is silent about why this happened. There is some kind of internal story, obviously.
The brand still targets consumer emotions. One of the novelties is the Super Stardog sneakers. This is a model covered in brown faux fur that mimics the dog's fur. On top there are 3 strips that are unchanged. In this way, the company reinterpreted the story of faithful Hachiko. 2021 marked another chapter in the Adidas and Nike global market rivalry. Athletes with famous names competed in the postponed Olympic Games and the Football Euro. Brands competed for athletes' endorsement. The European Championships had an almost equal result. Adidas signed with 8 national teams, Nike with 9.
At the Tokyo Olympics, the Adidas uniform was worn by the national teams of Great Britain, Ireland, and Northern Ireland. Nike outfitted skateboarders from Brazil, France, and Japan, football players from the Netherlands, Nigeria, South Korea, and the Turkish national team. American athletes mostly wore Nike, except golfers who chose the German brand.
Both competitors managed to get into scandals around the Tokyo Games. Nike has announced that it will not terminate the contract of runner Sha'Carri Richardson, even after she was caught doping. Adidas was embarrassed by the Portuguese judoka Jorge Fonseca. Like Puma, it refused to sponsor the athlete, saying that Fonseca had not yet grown to their level. When the Portuguese won the bronze medal, he sarcastically stated that he dedicated the award to Adidas and Puma. There are still many challenges in the global market at Adidas. Nike's success as the leading shoe sales competitor haunts Adidas. In 2020, the American corporation earned $38 billion, the German corporation earned only $24 billion. The only thing that can please is the fact that Puma is far behind with its modest $6 billion in revenue.